it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.
Devon, you made this?
Hey, welcome to the Fentanyl Facts and Stories. I'm Charlie Perry, along with my host, Paula Santos Young, and we got a guest here, Jesse St.Gelais. Is that right?
You said it wrong.
Goliath?
That's okay. Everybody gets it wrong. It's St.Gelais.
Gelais.
Nice to meet you, though.
My God. Hey, you know what? Give me some detention, and I'll straighten that out.
That's all right. You know, it's St.Gelais all the way to the State House, right? So St.Gelais all the way. There you
That's
go.
right. Well, and then I'll pay you back. I'll just give you my vote, and then we'll go from there, right?
Thank you, sir.
So I am so excited to have both of you here. Another podcast. I could do this every day. I just like doing it, and when it comes to something important and essential to the community, like fentanyl, and getting education out there for everyone to learn, and definitely get educated on it, because so many people, there's so many misconceptions out there that people like Paula and I got to do the best we can, and along with you, Jesse.
Yeah.
All right, Paula, how was your day?
It was good. I'm very busy, as you know. I've got a lot going on. I've got an event next week up in Boston. I've got another one November 14th in Springfield, and then I'll be at Gillette Stadium on November 15th, because I've been invited to be a guest speaker with the emergency management system of Massachusetts and with the fire marshal. So I will be a guest speaker for a huge symposium that they're putting together. It's called Symposium on the Deadly White Powder. Amazing speakers that are coming, from the FBI to Dr. Leave, who Dr. Leave actually worked under the former administrator as the first woman who was head of substance abuse for the United States. We have David DiGregorio, who was the former Massachusetts hazmat director, which, Charlie, you've heard that name because David and I do a lot of events together. We have Travis Rebello, right from here in New Bedford, who is a firefighter, and also he is a trainer in emergency management and hazmat. So a lot of really good guest speakers coming to talk about what everybody knows is the crisis. And Charlie, just to let you know, I have met Jesse, and I attend many of his events, and we've seen each other at many of the ward meetings. We've kind of become, I would say we've become friends, because
Absolutely.
He's an independent, I'm an independent, but a lot of his vision and drive is, I think, what people need to hear. And this is why I've asked him to be on. And Charlie, just to let you know, Jesse, Charlie is actually family. Charlie has known us for a very long time. He knew our son, Andrew, when Andrew was at Police Academy in New Bedford. Mm-hmm. And he actually got a plaque for being the president. That I'm not sure if it was Charlie, but I know it was.
I think it was Alan.
Yes.
Fonseca.
Yes. Officer Fonseca gave to him. and a bunch of others that I don't know if they're still there, but we still have that. So this is how long Charlie and I have known each other, and he's amazing.
Wow.
When we lost Andrew unexpectedly, as you know, he wanted to do something. And what we do is we bring people like yourself to this podcast every week, whether it's people who are running for office like yourself, council members, we bring, people who are in recovery, we bring people who have had a stance on what's happening in this country and what's really going on with fentanyl. And we bring people who have actually been, unfortunately, overdosed with fentanyl, but now have a wonderful life that they're living, and they're on a different path, and they're here to talk about it. So we really want you to just talk about, why you think the people should vote for you, not just because you're an independent, because a lot of people attended the debate the other night. And I have to tell you, Charlie, the next time I do an event, you can put this on record. Achieve Greatness is going to have Phil Palalogas. He's freaking amazing. Okay.
They did a great job. Yeah.
He is the man. I mean, and
that's why he's in radio.
Yes, not to take away other people that have moderated, because they've been just as amazing, but he's really good. I could take pointers from him.
He's quite the MC, huh? He is. He's great.
He is. So Jesse, why don't you talk about yourself? Talk about why you think, and and here on this podcast, please understand, we have an hour, and share your what you value, share what you think, where this country is headed, share why you think you would be that person, because I'm going to be honest with you, me and Charlie will not interrupt you, because Charlie and I see what's happening in this country. Charlie is a former police officer right here in our great city, retired. He still is very well connected to a lot of the folks, and he hears what's happening in our city. He sees the numbers. So when we're getting reports from the police that say that, well, the overdoses aren't as bad anymore.
Really? Yeah, and one of the things that I like doing with the guest is kind of, I get it from my long career, right? The police officers like to say you have the right to remain silent.
That's what he tells me. That's what he tells me.
But with my guests, I like them to talk, and I don't let anybody. I just let them go on, and then when I have my questions, I have a question at the end. I would definitely, ask you. But thank you. It's good to hear some good news, some good words about people that are running in politics. Things are getting kind of crazy. There are good, bad, and ugly. So, when a guy like you comes on and comes aboard, steps up to the plate, and I just want to commend you for putting your name on the ballot, because campaigning, which I know very well, it takes a lot. It's 6 months every day for 6 months. You're campaigning and trying to get things going. It's for me, if you started a whole lot sooner, a year and up to this election, I applaud you for that, because 6 months was exhausting.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
hey, I just turned 41 years old a couple weeks ago, and my back's been crying now.
Yeah.
So. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
So what I will start with, Jesse, just to let you know. And
absolutely.
On the table for everybody to hear, because Charlie also has this on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, everywhere, and we'll get 500-600 people listening. I will tell you that one of the comments that I made after your debate to one of the folks that was there, and I can't remember his name, but I said, I firmly believe, and anybody can quote me on this, that the Democrats have lost a lot of votes, and I'll tell you why. Us grieving parents are paying attention to what's happening. And us grieving parents paid attention to the 2 debates that occurred. And the only party who talked about this crisis and actually brought somebody to speak upon it who had lost her son was the Republicans. I am not saying that they are right, because obviously I look at it like this. when you know a crisis is occurring and you have a forum that you just had and you don't even talk about it, if you don't think that we, the grieving parents, paid attention, think again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely true. Well, first, I just want to thank you both for allowing me to be here and
You're
take
welcome.
part of this. This is awesome. I mean, as far as what really motivated me really to run, right? I mean, maybe just to touch on your point, I have young kids. I have 3 children in this world, and when you really look around, it's like, where are we headed?
Mhm.
And it's a very scary thing when you look at it that one day we won't be around, and then it's going to be their show to run, right? And we need to make this world a better place now, and we there's no time to wait. Um, for far too long, I feel that you have a lot of politicians that get elected on certain talking points. Um, the inaction it's disturbing. It really is, and these are issues that have all affected us, some more than others. Close, and we need to do something to rid our world of these things that are taking lives too early. But I'll tell you, but aside from that, I just didn't see myself represented. I didn't see me represented, and I didn't see you represented. And I felt that if I didn't see myself, I know that other people, are feeling the same way. I've been in the insurance business for about 25 years, been around it my whole life. What a boring thing, huh? But but here's the thing, right? In my role in this agency where I am right now, actually, this is headquarters, kind of my second home.
Yeah.
I listen though. I listen, and I was always taught in this business to be the best salesperson, to be the best customer service representative. You have to be the best listener, right? And I don't know how to write a policy, that can suit you if I don't listen to you, right? So with that said, though, we have to listen. We have to do our job as elected officials. God willing, I'm elected, right?
Yes.
But with that, my 25 years, in this business, I'm listening to that person about maybe say their auto insurance. They come into my office and we're talking about maybe their budget and all that, and then I'm just listening in general. And a lot of times it turns into politics, right? And you know that you got to avoid that in business, right? But I'm listening. And then, the next person that might come in would be somebody that owns commercial properties or a business or something like that. So it might be a totally opposite, type client that I'm dealing with. But the thing is, one central message that I feel like it's always boiled down to is like, especially whenever we get on politics, it's that apathy. People just roll their eyes like, oh yeah, here we go again, government that's not working for us. And, know, yeah, and as you know, Charlie, I mean, this is a scary game to get into, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
put
it
your
is.
name out there and you put yourself out there. You're like, here I am, take your shots, right? Um, it's intimidating in that sense. But when I really looked around at my young kids and I'm looking at it and I'm like, are we getting better? Is tomorrow going to get better? Things haven't been getting better. And what can I do about it? And I was waiting. I didn't see anybody else coming around. And just, and this is just a small piece, the 8th Bristol district.
Yeah.
It's Westport. You have so it's all of Westport, Acushnet, Freetown. Then you have a little bit of New Bedford, like a tiny bit of New Bedford because it's gerrymandered to the hills. And then
Mhm.
you have a little bit of Fall River as well, too, like right around the Flint area. And but I look at it like this: if I can affect this area, just this little piece over here, it's going to carry. And my voice will be for the whole state. It will be for all of us here too. And I'm in this for the right reasons. I'm an independent. I've always been one since the age of 18. I just always felt just vote with common sense. You use your mind and your heart to make decisions in this world. And and I guess that's probably my Irish side. I'm a little stubborn. I make my own decisions. I don't like to be told what to do. Um, but with that, again, with that said, I jumped into this race just really, truly not caring whether or not there was a Democrat or a Republican, and there was that they pulled out nomination papers, and I always looked at it. I said, that's okay. I mean, I get it. Odds are stacked up against me as an independent, but I'm me. That's the difference. I'm me, and I know why I'm here. I know what I'm going to do, and and that's it. Nobody's going to tell me that I can't accomplish anything I'm trying to do, whether or not I win this election or not. The campaign goes on. So, but I could probably keep talking all day, just so you
No,
know.
we
No,
weren't.
My
Yeah.
wife be
fine.
here, she'd be like, "Shut up," you know.
No,
No,
we
no.
want to talk. But I will ask you something. So
Sure thing.
as an independent and as someone
Mhm.
who has thrown their hat in the race, and of course having done insurance for 20 plus years as you have,
Yeah.
you know, one of the things that I always talk about when I speak, and whether it's to kids or an event that I do, is I always tell people, especially politicians, and you know the ones that know me, you know the
Yeah.
same ones I know. And I always say to them, I say, you know, including to Senator Markey and Congressman Keating and so many others, I say, you know, one of the biggest things that I will always say, although I might not always agree with what he does, you know, Senator Johnson, who is the new Speaker of the House, one of
Yeah.
the things he did when he became the Speaker, and everyone can look this up on YouTube. I tell people all the time, YouTube is free. Is the speech that he gave when he became Speaker. He told every single person in the Capitol, non-action is no longer an excuse.
That's right.
The crisis that we have.
That's
And
right.
here we are a year later, 2 years later, whatever it's been. And that's continuing what we continue to see.
Yep.
Tell us if you can, or, you know, tell us how people can truly believe, because I will tell you a lot of the things that I hear and see is, you know, it's the same old, same old. They're all making promises that they say they're going to keep and they're not going to. And then they go back to, well, look at the folks we've already put in, and it's
Mhm.
the same old, same old. And, you know, and one of the things I always say is I say, you're right, but if we don't give someone a chance
Mhm.
who's telling us they're going to make a difference, then how do we know if they're going to or not?
That's true. I mean, you know, as a representative, you're just part of a body, right? And so you're one, but you have to fight for these issues that are so important. You have to put them at the forefront. You got to shine a light on it. You got to try to get funding for these programs that are going to help people's lives. Me personally, I've been affected with that. I've lost family members, you know, due to, drug addiction. I have friends. I've run out of fingers. I can't count them anymore on my hand, you know, of kids that I grew up with, you know, just in Acushnet. Cause I attended New Bedford schools. I was born in New Bedford, actually, right on Cedar Grove Street, right in the west, kind of northwest end there by Hayden McFadden.
On
And,
that street every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was right at the bottom over there, 383 Cedar Grove Street.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
But you know, that's where I grew up, and then my family, we moved out to Acushnet back in 1993, and I've been there ever since, raising my family now. But here's the thing: attending Acushnet schools, right? You would think, oh, Acushnet, you know, sheltered, right? No, a lot of people. Again, I can't count how many of my friends are gone, and it
Yeah.
could have been me, could have been anybody. It's very easy to fall into these traps, right? So as a legislator, I'm sorry, you really have to do something about it. There are still gaps, there are still holes here that we need to fill, and we got to make sure that we have the right programs in place and the awareness. And you know, we have to start it young with the children and let them know we got to be careful. You know, you got to be very careful now in this world, more so than ever. I mean, you know, with all the modern advancements in technology and all that, it's very easy for someone to make a mistake and then that be it. You one strike, you're out, you know, and that's what we have to do is we have to shine a light on that. We have to actually address mental illness a lot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, personally, you know, with my stories that I could tell you, I feel like there's a lot of depression underlying that, you know, that leads people to places. And you know, and that's an unfortunate thing that we cut funding to that years ago in this state. And it just, I don't understand. I really don't understand why. Why would you do that? Like
Yeah.
life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, right? This is what it is, America. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Why are we cutting programs or just not funding them enough when they're based on those right there? Life,
Exactly.
liberty, you know. So give someone opportunity. Make sure let's take the business aspect out of health insurance. You know, I mean, it's sad. You know, I was talking to a woman just recently. I'm going off on a little tangent. I'm going to come back,
No,
so just bear
that's
with me.
okay.
No, keep going.
But just when I was knocking a door out, and I think it was Westport. I don't know. I don't even know what day it is half the time. There's so many towns and I'm running around like a nut, right? But I think it was Westport. And she was talking about her insulin. and and how expensive that is. And she's on a fixed income. She was, I think, what, 75 years old or so, but and she's still working, and she's working, like she said, because she needs to be able to afford her medication and the copays and all that fun stuff, right? Why is it that the world is this way? She needs that medicine to live. That's not a choice of hers. She's not just going out and saying, "Hey, I want the," no, that she needs. Without it, she dies.
Right.
So again, we need to get our priorities straight. We really got to straighten things out. Enough is enough. Again, back to the mental health though. Let's start funding that like cancer, right? I mean, I think what is there only about like 10% or whatever, less than 10% is allocated to that. Like, I think it was Patrick Kennedy wrote a book about that. Was it a Profiles in Mental Health or something? Like, I
Yes.
might be messing up,
Yes.
but yeah, and
I get
and
it back here somewhere. It's
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, pull that out so I don't mess up the name. But anyway, but here's the thing: that's such a serious underlying issue that's the gateway to other things. Now, in regard to crime, right? I'm going to preach to the choir right now. So, in regard to crime, look at our location here on a map. We are coastal. Look at that. How easy is it to get things in right through the sea?
Exactly.
How easy is it? I mean, we're already having it coming over borders and all that. I mean, that we already know that. But how easy is it? And there's a very good friend of mine that's in he's a special agent, former special agent, Eric Karen, close friend of mine. And he wrote a book on it and everything there. But he believes very strongly in that broken window theory. Where that you do got to crack down on some crime here, and you have to be kind of really stern on it. Make sure that people, the little crimes are just, we gotta reel that in where people understand and respect the law. So that's something that he could probably elaborate a lot better on. But just things like that, and him and I in our conversations are talking about how how we're like a ticking time bomb over here because of we're border. We have borders all around here, but look at it can come in right from the ocean there, and and New Bedford's perfectly in place there to have a problem, and we gotta tighten that up over there on that end.
So true.
But again, we need support though. We need support. We need to make sure we have some funding for programs that are going to help people and save lives.
Exactly.
Now, and that's a good question, because one of the things, and I'm actually trying to post a link where you talk about crime. One of the things that we've learned through this process, and Charlie and I have talked about this, and it's been confirmed many times, when you talked about the border, what people are not understanding is that, it's not the migrants. Okay. It's American citizens that are selling the fentanyl. It's your neighbor that you think is calm and quiet, and they have the pill mills in their backyard or in the garage. I mean, we all saw what happened in Lynn, Massachusetts, where there was enough to kill every single person in our state, and then you have the DEA administrator, Ann Milgram, coming on and telling Congress, well, we can only account for 10% of the fentanyl. 10%. So where is the 90? Where is it? And when you have folks right here in our state who go to the state house, and many of them, Jesse, and they're hearing this, and again, non-action. How do you change that mentality? Because I will tell you, I had someone say to me, I won't tell you here who was it, but I had someone say to me, who is in legislation here in our state, well, Paula, you need to understand that we don't always want to talk about this. Charlie, you know who it is.
Yeah.
How would you counteract that person that you will definitely see in the state house, because they're in that same building? And that was the response they said to me.
So, all right. So because out of respect, we're on a live podcast here, I don't want to use any language. I think my Irish side of me would fly out there, because that is very disrespectful. That's disrespectful for them to say that to you, knowing you. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't stand for that. I mean, it's an issue. It's an issue that we need to fix this. We need results, So Yeah, obviously it's a very, very big issue, and it can't be fixed overnight. But I think that if we all just work towards one issue at a time and focus on that and fund it and really go all in, I think we can put a big dent into solving the problem, right? Um, yeah, it's not the main focus of some of these people. I mean, I don't know why it isn't. Maybe it didn't affect them. I
Yeah.
guess that's really what it boils down to, is that there are some people, and I don't really know who you're speaking about, but I can tell you this with that kind of answer. That's somebody that's far removed from reality, and I'm not that person. That will never be me. I always know where I came from. I always know where I want to go. I know what I'm trying to
Mhm.
do. I know my purpose, right? Um, but yeah, that's unacceptable to even just kind of dismiss you in that manner. But negotiation. So I'll be part of our legislative body. We'll go up there and work my butt off to try to get these results and get things accomplished. And again, common sense approach. I'm gonna go up there with common sense. I mean, in the business world, common sense, right? If I don't
Mhm.
deliver results, I don't have a job. That's it, and the government should be held accountable in that sense, that we demand, as us, the people, we demand results out of our government, or you don't have a job.
Yes.
And that's just it. So, and unfortunately, though, we have low voter turnouts. We have people that feel that their vote doesn't matter. My election right now, it's like David versus Goliath, and not just because
Mhm.
I'm kind of a small guy, right? But I'm the independent going up against a Republican. Well, I don't know if he's a real Republican or not, but anyway, we'll leave that alone. It was all kinds of things, but a Republican and a Democrat, right? And that's the machine, right? That's right there. No offense to anybody that's a Democrat or Republican. I have a lot of friends of mine that are Democrats. I have family members that are. I have some that are Republican. I don't care how you are, who you vote for,
Mhm.
right? What I care about is who you are. I want you as my elected official, my elected representative, to put me first, not the
Yeah.
party first. I don't want you towing the party line. If you are, get out of here. I
Yeah.
mean, what use to you? You're no use to me.
Yeah. Um, parties, uh, it's part of America. And,
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
and, but the one thing that's part of America is being a decent human being. And, with you having decent conversations with people and just being a man of character, we're going to, a lot of people are going to see that. They're going to see that and express that. Hey, you're the candidate. You're the one that I need up there. You're the person I need to speak up for me. And so you just keep plugging away. I'm going to actually do the best I can for you
Thank
as
you.
a new friend to spread the word out there, and feel free to tag anything that you're doing as far as running. Tag me, it will go on my page. I'll share it no matter what. Um,
Thank you.
I just you can't go wrong with a man named Jesse, other than Jesse James.
I mean, I'm gonna go up there guns blazing, I guess, huh? Is that
Yeah.
it? Well, I gotta
Well,
negotiate to get things done, right? So
so
we all
Jesse,
know
so
how that is. They won't like the newcomer that comes in like that. So
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. You
so
are going
yeah.
to be
Jesse,
fine.
so to ask you the tough questions, right, that I'm sure many people are thinking.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of comments here of people who are listening to you, so that's obviously perfect. This is what we want. But one of the questions I have is that you touched upon mental health.
Mhm.
And, mental health is obviously a crisis that America has seen for, way before us, I'm sure, all of us put together.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned Patrick Kennedy, and he stepped down because of his mental health. Now, I think one of the biggest things that we continue to see is that we see all these crises that are occurring. Mental health stems from a lot of things to a lot of people,
Mhm.
and a lot of it child trauma or other things that folks go through. And you're right,
Mhm.
we don't have enough to take care of mental health. We also have schools who are saying, and I've heard this myself coming from many administrators, I don't have enough counselors. When
Mhm.
we have a school system now where we have 8-year-olds who are vaping or they're smoking marijuana. And we have, the Latin Kings who are now collaborating and getting together with other gangs or the cartels because they see how much money is in fentanyl. So when you're seeing all of this as a candidate and truly, take off that hat as a parent, what does that do to you? Because I can tell you that for me, there was a comment made to me not too long ago, and someone said, you wouldn't be the advocate you are today if you had not lost your son.
Yeah.
And they were right. But now I'm advocating because I don't want you to lose yours.
Yeah. And God bless you for that.
Yeah.
And, that's, that's very deep as far as that goes. And again, but as far as advocating for mental health at a young age, schools need more funding. There's always an issue and a juggling act with the school funding formulas, right? We don't have enough help. And again, that goes back to what I was saying before: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, right? Like those core American values, right? When you look at that, we need to make sure that we pour into that. There is a lot now with social media and all that. There are so many, again, little gaps and holes and ruts and, that kids can fall into. Parents are working harder than ever, so they're not always home, and they might not be there for their kids, even though maybe, obviously they wouldn't want to be, but we need more help on that level. We need more help for, the police, firefighters, as far as counseling for that too. So it's an issue that it doesn't discriminate. It's actually a very blanketed issue, especially coming out of COVID, right? You look at that, and it was a lot. There was a very high suicide rate with that. So we're not in the clear with that. Coming outside of COVID, that's still messed a lot of people up.
I agree.
A lot of lives lost too. I had family members pass, from that, and just even in general, just that, can leave an effect on someone. But yes, we do have to bring attention to that. We have to fund the help. We need more help, definitely on the school level. Our schools, when it comes to education, we need to ready these kids for tomorrow, give them the tools. Maybe it's more vocational schooling that we need, but we need them to be ready for tomorrow. There's a shortage of nurses, right, in the hospitals. So, so you kind of look at this, and that's compacted on top of that. And, so when we're even talking about help, well, even on the hospital end of it, right, we're actually seeing that, like a shortage there. So there's a lot of problems. We can go on and on and on, but problem is, I think our government tends to put a Band-Aid over things that require stitches, right? And we need to actually fix the issue, get to the root of it, spend time with it, and spend the money on it. Spend the money on the help that our kids need in the schools for the counseling and all those things that are going to help them and help them, shape them into productive people in our society. So I don't know if what the question, I'm sorry, I forgot the question, but was the question something to do with that? Did I do it? Or I want to make sure I'm answering the question. So
no, you did. You did. But I think one of the things, like, you talk about money, right?
Yeah.
And sorry, hold on. No, Charlie, there's no Tito's in there. It's just juice.
Yeah, right.
Oh, come on. Hey, it's after hours.
You can plead the fifth if you want.
So here's a question. So we say that there's no money. We say that there needs to be funding for our school system. There needs to be funding for mental health. There needs to be funding for our police for training. There needs to be funding for our first responders who are really crisis after crisis. You talked about COVID, and now it's fentanyl. They're not catching a break. You talked about how the hospitals are lacking of not just nurses, but doctors. You can't even find a primary care now. Good luck.
Yeah.
So, but yet we see checks being sent, blank checks, to other countries.
Yeah.
Not saying that we should not help others, because I will never say that. But when this is what you see every single day on TV, and this is
Hmm.
what used to happen, how do you counter that? How do you say to your constituents, you know what? You're right. I hear you. And
Hmm.
here's my take on this, because we're not just sending $1,000, we're sending hundreds of millions.
Yeah. Yeah. It's absurd. Our tax dollars are being spent on other problems that we, and meanwhile we're looking at our cities and towns burning around us, so to speak, right?
Hmm.
And we're losing our young and impressionable ones. And again, it's a lot of issues are so politicized that we were in a surplus in this state a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that, but we had a lot of money.
Yes, we did.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
where the hell did that go?
Yeah.
Where did it go? I know they voted themselves pay raises. I know that. That's
Hmm.
nice, huh?
So,
That's pretty
that's
cool.
like a
Wish
whole
I could do
nother
that sometimes.
hour. That's a whole nother hour of where it went. We'll
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to come back for
but
that one.
but so yeah, we'll leave that alone. We don't want to get anybody upset out there, right? But here's the thing, right? Priorities, priorities. That's all it is. And with this, I'm running for the Massachusetts House seat, so I wouldn't have a ton of say on the national level. But my opinion is that's wrong. I agree with you on that. We need to take care of our area. And that's where I feel that the governor of Massachusetts mismanaged a lot of money with the migrant crisis too. And there
Hmm.
are people here that have paid their dues for far too long, like our seniors and veterans and just other, in general, people that have paid into the system that needed the system. And the system wasn't there to take care of them. And that I have a problem with, and that was a heavily politicized issue. I think it was very irresponsible. I wouldn't support that. I'm a human being though, and I would open up my house to somebody to take them in to help them out. That's me, my
Yeah.
personal belief. I can't tell you to do that. Um, but I do feel that, again, we have a lot of issues in housekeeping here that needs to be taken care of. So let's look and focus over here. And when I go door to door, I do get asked those questions sometimes about national issues, and I'll give them my opinion, but I'll also give them a quick reminder too that it's, I'm focused on these 5 towns right here. That's going to be my focus in making the world a better place, right?
True.
Obviously supporting policies that will help everyone because the neighboring towns do affect us. So, so we all do have to work together. And that's really what my campaign is all about. Getting rid of the division. The division is eating us alive. And it literally, I don't have to point this out, but now more than ever, I think we're all looking at it. Even people that weren't really political, that wouldn't talk politics, they are. And they're like, what is going on? And
True.
that's why I said it on that debate stage. I asked everybody humbly to say, hey, look, stop looking at the R or the D and look at me. I'm your independent. I'm the guy that will work with everybody. Everybody has a seat at my table to get the results done. As long as we're going to get a positive result to help things, I'm not here to waste time. So I could be doing other things. I'm on the board of 2 different nonprofits. I own some rental property. I run a business and I have a family. But you know what? I love my area around here and I want to help out. And I don't see anybody stepping up like me, in this race. I don't see anybody in there for the right reasons. I'm sorry, and that's just not like a political tagline. I really don't see it. And I know what I'm capable of and where my heart is and what my intentions are. And God willing, I'm elected on the 5th. You'll see that. I'm going to try to get those results.
Well, you
So
talked
true.
about the migrants, and it's interesting that you talked about that because Charlie posted a New York Times article that just came out, and it's actually the migrant crisis is hitting every single city, as we know.
Yeah.
But in New York, there's this young kids who are affiliated with a gang. They are now starting to harass people at Times Square.
Yeah.
So when you hear things and you see things, and again, it's the New York Times, so it's not something that I'm making up or Charlie. It's right there for everyone to read. And when you can go and just pull it up and see what's happening, how does Massachusetts truly fix it? Because let's be honest, we have our governor who was putting up billboards in Florida saying, people, hey, come to Massachusetts, we'll welcome you. And now we welcome them, which is what we're supposed to do, because that's what human beings do. But now we're at a influx of where, she has clearly stated, well, we can't take anymore, so now I'm going to send you back. Well, what kind of message does that send? And I get that you're saying, hey, I'm a state rep for these 5 towns, but just to clarify you, and I will correct you, because I've been said this to me, when you're a state representative, you're a representative for everybody in the state.
That's right. Yeah, I agree.
Everybody. So, and that was told to me by someone, Jesse, one of your friends.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's true though. But that's the thing. You are. I mean, you are an absolute voice for this whole entire state. Whenever we're speaking about local issues, say I'm out in Fall River or whatever, the water quality or whatever. Yeah, that's my main focus is to get these results done for my people here in this district that elected me. But obviously, there's going to be issues like what you just brought up with. I wouldn't have supported that. Absolutely not. I mean, you're politicizing an issue on these people's back, and these people wanted to get out of where they were going. They probably were living in hell, and they wanted to get out of there. And you went and you welcomed them in without having the capability of taking care of them. And then and then you're going to cut programs and that we desperately need in our area to try to fund that. And then the message you sent is so backwards. I mean, it's unreal. This isn't the society that the older generations worked their butts off to build, and that we're working for. This isn't progress. We should be getting better every day. Tomorrow should be better than today. So why is it that we have this sense of like, oh my God, just constant failure? It's because the government, unfortunately, in the state of Massachusetts, you have a stronghold. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm making this a Democrat Republican thing. But if you do look at it, there is not a check and a balance going on there. It's very lopsided with the leadership, if you want to call it that.
I agree.
So you got to balance it out.
A candidate like you is definitely going to be something that's very, very much needed. So you keep up the strong commitment and dedication, and I'll spread the word as much as possible. Before I forget again, I want to, if you have your debate that was streamed anywhere, feel free to share it with me, or just let me know where it is so I can find it.
So it's actually right on New Bedford Cable Access. It just aired on Friday. So
all right, I'll find that and then I'll share it. Let's see. I'm forgetting one other thing before. Oh.
And don't mind me. I'm new to the whole debate stage and all that. So I just kind of fire away, and that's it. What you see is what you get. So.
Yeah, and it, just being that honest. I mean, it may be the perceived way to do something that's so scripted, and that's the way you want to kind of throw out your message. But guess what? If it's not a script, it seems to be more genuine and. So that's the candidate I like. That's the people I like that are just being honest with a very, very hard or easy question. If you're just honest with it, that's a 5 stars for me. So, but I want to thank everybody on YouTube, everyone on Facebook, everyone on LinkedIn that are joining us. There's some comments that came in and saying hello. I just want to let everybody know as we're getting to the tail end of this podcast that thank you. We truly, truly appreciate you coming and joining us once a week on all those streams. It's real important that we do this. Cindy says, I'm watching from Westport, and Jesse has my vote. Cindy, thank you very much. That's real
you,
important. Cindy. And so I want to at least I just want to say thank you for viewing this podcast and listening.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they are what keeps us going. That and the news that I keep sending to Charlie. So I guess here's one of my other questions, Jesse, is the towns that you will represent and the residents of those towns.
Mhm.
Taxes are going up for everybody, including myself. And what is your take on that? Because with so many things that are going up now, when people are having to choose between, do I get my medicine or do I go get food? And now we get told by our town officials that now your taxes is going up. And it's not because I live in, a $5 million home. It's
Yeah.
because it's just going up. So how do you combat that as the candidate coming into a position where you have all these things that are occurring in your towns to your, constituents? You spoke to many of them. You're knocking on doors. I mean, you've probably knocked on 5 to 10,000 folks, and I'm sure you're
Quite a bit.
hearing this, right? And I'm sure
Yeah.
you're hearing this, and this is something that I'm sure people want to know, because Charlie knows, living here in New Bedford, and even myself, in the home that I'm living in, I'm probably over $6,000 a year in property
Oh, yeah.
taxes. And
Yeah.
I'm not living in Peyton Aram.
Hmm. Yeah. It's definitely a big issue, right? Because again, we're talking about cost of living, quality of life, right? You have to advocate for more local aid. And that's the issue, is that I feel bad for our city councilors, select boards and all that, they have nothing. They're getting barely anything for local aid. And they're over here splitting hairs. And even that, when you look at just in general, right? When you look at how a lot of things are funded on grants, and that's like grants run out. I mean, if I ran a business on non-guarantee, that's a scary, risky way. Speculative, gains, right? That's very scary. So we need to make sure that our local aid, our tax dollars, come back to the cities and towns that need it. And we have to make sure that we have a friendly environment for business. We need to make sure that when you look at these commercial tax rates in some of these towns and cities, it's kind of high. Actually, Westport has the lowest one. I think it's like 7.3 or something like that % for residential and commercial. But but when you look at other places like New Bedford, and Fall River, pretty high. We want to make sure that we attract business, small business. We have to be a very friendly environment for small businesses. I run a small business, and I have people that rely on this business to put food on their table. So without having small business in the area, you're not going to have any taxes, right? And then they're going to be looking at property tax, the residential tax, right? You're going to be, and that's what it's going to affect people like us. Even when you look at New Bedford, for example, taxes go up on a rental property. Well, what's the landlord going to do? They're going to raise the rent, and then you're going to have the tenant paying more rent. And then there's only so much money though that they're bringing home on their, with their career, and it doesn't balance out. So what you're seeing is the trickle down effect of the lack of local aid coming into these cities and towns, that they have no choice but to say, okay, well, we're going to kick the can at you again. Water and sewer goes up. Well, all right, well, you got to pay more. And then, but where does that money come from? We're not getting any more money in this environment, in this very high inflationary environment. So what you do as a representative is you go up there and you try to get that local aid. You don't try, actually, you get that local aid. And you say, listen, this is what's going on. You got to negotiate whatever you have to do, but you need to make sure that you're bringing that money back to make sure that these programs and these towns, they have what they need. So that way they're not looking at balancing it on maybe some grant that's going to run out, or trying to get it out of the person that's been retired now for many years, that has finally has a paid off home, that that budget goes up about $20 more in that month. Well, guess what? Now they're like, okay, well, I can't afford my medication, or I'm going to go without a meal or something. That's not progress. That's it's sad that we're even at that point. I think there's a lot of greed that gets in the way. And I've heard the stories about how things can be up at Beacon Hill, and I don't know. I look at it this way, man upstairs is on my side, so I have the best partner with me. So I'm going to do what I can to make sure that, I do the right thing and get things done. Again, I'm one, but with all of you, I think I could be more than one, right? So we can
Exactly.
rally to make sure our voices are heard to get things done around here. But yeah, it is a challenge, I'm sure, to get more money out of them, huh? It
Now,
seems like it.
what would you
So
say to
true.
someone with in reference to rent? Because you spoke about rent. And let's
Yeah.
face it, I mean, I have made comments on Facebook. I'm seeing someone posting an apartment and they want,
Mhm.
$2,200. And I'm like,
Yeah.
are you out of your mind? I don't even pay that for my mortgage.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's
So
tough. That's I own rental property, and I haven't raised the rent on my tenants. And I bought it a long time ago though, so I didn't buy this. So for example, I bought a 4-family home in 2004 when I turned 21. And I bought it for about 250,000, I think, or maybe 225 or 250. That I couldn't touch that right now. All right, in this market. And again, there's a lot of reasons why these property values are so up. And and yes, people want to buy a home and buy the rental property, move into maybe the second or first floor and rent it out, and then be able to that's an income property. I mean, let's face it, people buy income properties for retirement. One day when I croak, that's going to be for my kids. So,
Mhm.
and I'm doing my thing, but so that's what it's there for. But to go and raise the rents on people to a point where it's disgusting, shame on those people out there that are doing that. I mean, I don't want to really get into it for my tenant's sake, but I could tell you right now, I could more than likely be getting double the amount for that first floor 3-bedroom in the north end. All right. And I'm not
Exactly.
doing it. And I'm not doing it. You know why? Because it's not the right thing to do. I'm able to make ends meet, and their life's important too. I have good tenants that their lives depend on that. I like fixed things in life. I like a fixed interest rate on my mortgage. I like fixed rates. I like to know what tomorrow's going to be so I can budget. I expect that they would want that too, right? So, we got to have that little bit of humanity in business. I think that goes a long way. Again, with my 25 years in the insurance business, that's how we built this business. That's how my dad built it actually back in 1989, walking and knocking. He was like, take care of people, and they're going to take care of you because they're going to tell you their friends about you, how good of a guy you are, and then they're going to refer them. That's what you do. Iron sharpens iron. It's like that boomerang effect, right? But
So true.
but that's a lot of landlords need a lesson in that humility a little bit where, yeah, you can make all the money, but is it going to be worth it? Is it really going to be worth it when you're making that family that's trying to grow, you're making them struggle? So, yeah, but it's tough. What do you do in the government? Do you pass a law to restrict them on doing that? That becomes a tough issue because now you're talking about restricting free enterprise, right? So you got to be careful with that. But I think there has to be some work done on that end where we make sure that people aren't being displaced and put out on the street because of greed. So we really have to address that and really put our heads together and figure things out.
that's good.
Absolutely.
So now my last question of the night is the Boston Globe put out an article last week in reference to how after a lot of extensive reporting that they did, there's a lot of backdoor agreements that are being made, and our legislation here in Massachusetts is not transparent at all. What would you say to that?
As far as what you mean, basically question one, right? On transparency, can we audit the legislature? Yeah, I'm all for that. Absolutely. They can audit us, right? So
Yeah.
listen, we need to know what's going on. They work for us. If I'm elected, I work for you, right? And that's how it goes. And you know what? That's where we need to make sure that people understand that hey, guess what? We elected you, but guess what? You work for me. All right. So I want to know where my money is. I want to know what's going on. And I do feel that an audit's going to bring a lot of that to light. So I think it's a very weak argument on the other end that, as to the opposition of that. I think it's a very weak argument. And I applaud the state auditor for trying to do that.
So what is your last statements, comments to the audience that's listening? Because of course it's Monday night, and my lovely co-host said that Monday night would be okay to do podcasts even though football's on. But we
What's
know
going on, Charlie? What's up with that, huh?
but we know, hold on, wait a minute, Charlie.
I got to go see the game, man.
Yeah, especially because the Jets are playing, and that was Andrew's team. So of course,
okay, all right.
That's who I support. And Charlie and I do something fun now, Jesse. So I will be asking for your help because everyone that knows me, and I've been been doing this for quite some time, knows that I don't know anything about sports. I suck. But Charlie has to ask me a football question. He asked me 2 weeks ago, and I did good. I actually knew the answer, but I don't know what he's going to
Okay, here's a question.
ask me. Call
Let's
a friend.
see.
So I'm calling.
Gonna call on me. All right, geez, I barely have. I barely have enough time to watch TV, so I'll try to help you.
All right, Charlie, what are you asking me today?
Let's see. Let's see.
Oh, you know, he's good.
How many points are a field goal?
Okay, that's the one that's closest to the big net, so it's 3.
See that? You're pretty good.
Ah, all right.
We're going to give you one more question. All right. After a team scores a touchdown and they kick the ball after the touchdown, what's that called?
Wait a minute, you just said if it's a touchdown, they
All right, they score a touchdown, right?
So it's 7 points.
They score a touchdown, right?
Yeah, well, 6, and then they get that. Okay, go. Then they get
What-
then they have to do the field goal. They have to do the last one to get the last
What's
point.
that called? What's that called?
Isn't it called a field kick? A kicker field? I don't know. What is it?
Kind of like a field kick, right?
Yeah, extra point.
You're doing it on a
extra point.
field. It's on a field.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. Whatever. It's a field thing you do that they got to kick. Okay. All right.
Extra point. All right.
All right, Jesse, please leave it.
passed.
Take us away.
You pass.
Well, I'm sorry.
Take us away with your last words to everyone who's listening tonight.
Yeah, anyone that's listening, I just want you to know that help is on the way. God willing, I'm elected on November 5th. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to serve our area. I'm going to do my best to try to make this a better place. Like I've been saying before, and I'll say it again, if you really want a representative that's going to listen to you, that's going to work for you, that's going to never give up on you, you're looking at them right here. So I would really appreciate your vote and your support. We have a lot of work to do. There are many issues that we have to tackle. I'm ready for it. So please vote for me, and I'll do the best that I can for you.
Great job, Jesse. I'll spread the word as much as I can. And anyone out there that is voting for Jesse, you tell a friend, and you tell a friend, tell 5 people, let those 5 people tell another 5. And guess what? Jesse gets a bunch of votes just by spreading the word like that.
Thank you.
5 times 5 times 5 times 5 goes a long, long way.
That's right.
Give this man his vote. He's I'm not gonna. I'm a betting man, but I'm gonna do the best I can to get the word out that Jesse's the dude. Jesse's the man, and a lot of people agree with me, including Cindy. Sorry, Cindy. It's plus. And like I said, I'm gonna get the debate. I'm gonna put it on the channel. Definitely share it, put it out there. Paula said that we get 300 to 500 people, and guess what? If the message is good for 300 to 500 people, that's I hope you get all those votes, or 3/4 of it. Which definitely things are going to be close no matter what, and
Absolutely,
we got to definitely do the right thing by you.
Word of mouth is going to win this election. That's for sure. Because it's we either rise together or we fall apart, and that's where we're at right now. So the independent candidate that I am, I'm working for everyone. I truly, my tagline on my campaign is "People over party." That's it. It's very simple. Put the people first.
I understand that. For years, I was a Democrat, and now I've been independent for at least the last 4 elections. So, keep up the good work. That was a great move on your part, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Jeanette says you will win, Jesse. Let's put that up there. That would go.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Video. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeanette. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Spread the word. We just don't talk about it. We'll talk about it, but a lot of people say they're going to vote, and they never get to the ballot.
Yeah.
Get to the
And I can
booth.
tell you right now, in this campaign, I'm knocking doors like crazy. So,
Mhm.
and the other candidates haven't put in any of that work. I know that. I've been hearing it. So I think it's very important to make sure that we get the feedback directly from the source, from the people. And
Right.
it's very
And
important.
I think you said it correctly, is that, you're out there and people are getting to know you. I, unfortunately, here in my ward, I don't even know who the hell my state representative is. So what does that tell you? Because
Oh,
it's not Chris, it's the other guy. So yeah, and ask me if I know him. No, never seen the man, don't even talk to him, don't know him. So yeah, what does that tell you? So I'm
well,
sure a lot more people feel the same exact way.
I'll tell you, we have 3 weeks to make history here in the state too. Electing an independent candidate, it will be actually historical. And odds are stacked against me. I get it. But I don't know. I feel like the wind's at my back with this one here. So I'm not gonna stop. And I'll be there on election day. And I'll be there after election day.
I am so glad to hear that. And but I'm gonna do my part, and
Thank you, sir.
but it'll be okay. We
Thanks a lot.
man of faith, as I heard in this podcast. So it's
Absolutely.
in his hands, and talk to him, communicate with him, and the rest.
That's right.
Paula, thanks for your good work. Let's just say I'm not rooting for the Jets.
You better
Today,
root for the Jets. Do you want Andrew to come and visit you? You better
listen,
root for them today.
I already talked to him, and he hit me upside the head like that, and I get it, but I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. It's so
Well,
hard.
I don't either. I don't like him either. But you know what? That's my son's team, so that's who I'm going to root for.
All right, I
And they
get it.
just
All right.
fired the coach. I don't
You
know
want
why.
to hear something? I'm a Patriots and a Raiders fan, so I'm used to losing, man, when it comes to football. So hey, it is
Don't
what
worry.
it is. So.
Don't worry.
I have a thick skin when it comes to football, man.
Well, I'm a Patriot fan, and after this Sunday,
You're
I'd rather.
changing teams because they're not doing anything anyway? Seriously?
What do you mean? I've been a Patriot fan
I
all
know
my
you
life.
have. I'm just saying the Patriots aren't doing much this year.
We're back to the Patriots that my
I-
grandfather used to yell at every Sunday. So I mean, I had a good ride for the last 20 years, right?
Yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with the team as far as the quarterback that they have. I can
Mayo,
watch
right?
it losing May. Drake.
Mayo. Sorry. Okay. Drake May.
I can watch. I can listen. Oh, you're going to voicemail. Check. I can watch a team. I can watch him lose, and be okay with it. But I know things are going to get better, and
They will.
I'm not worried about it. I just want Robert Kraft to stop drinking on the job, and then we'll be all set.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. Jesse, you're gonna be a-okay, and I can't wait. Paula, thank you for always getting the right guest on the show, and we will see everyone on next Monday, same time, 7:30. And you can find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Feel free, and Jesse, you might want to come back again, so you can come back.
Absolutely.
Don't even you don't need an invitation. Just kind of send us a message, and we'll
Thank
send
you.
you the link, and we'll go from there. And that's for all the podcasts that I'm involved in. It might be the Really Charlie podcast. It could be this one. Anything you possibly want. And
Awesome.
spread the word about WNB1 Radio. It's an internet radio station down in downtown New Bedford, 262 Union Street, New Bedford, Mass. And they play hip hop music. We have sports shows. We have podcasts, and we're always doing many things. So feel free if those are some other platforms you want to get on. Just let me know, and we'll make it happen.
Thank you.
All right, Paula, go see Jets lose, and
Wow.
I
Wow.
I'm gonna have to start sitting in on these. This gets
Yeah.
interesting, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you don't even know.
I can't.
Well,
I
you all
can't.
take care. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you both so
You're the
much.
best, man.
You're the
Thank
best.
you.
You two are.
All
Keep doing
right.
what you do because I love it. This is an awesome forum.
All
Thank
right.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you. And
bless.
have a good night.
God
Please
bless you.
tell your
Take
wife
care.
I said hello.
I
and
will.
I
Absolutely.
will see you again.
All right. God bless you
All
all.
right,
Take care.
Take care.
Bye,
Have a
everyone.
great night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone. Jesse is doing the right thing. You see the website there, jesseforyou.com. Check him out. He's running for state rep. He's definitely you can see he's a genuine dude. He's just trying to do the right thing. So that's Jesse for you, the number 4 you.com. Check him out, and you will not go wrong. I guarantee you it. I'm gonna endorse him as much as I can. Good dude. And let's see what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna end with my new favorite song. It's one of my favorites, so I'm gonna end with this. And I will definitely see you guys next Monday. I have a podcast on a Really Charlie podcast coming on tomorrow. I have to hook up with a guest to make sure that everything's okay. But you should see me on Facebook Live tomorrow at 6:30. All right, y'all. Take care. And this is my favorite song by Devad. Love this dude. He's doing great things down in Maryland area, and he did this for us.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass.